Hello class 7. I welcome you all to your English class. I hope you all are doing fine. Children, you are aware that in our previous video lesson we had started the 4th chapter from your Alien Handbook, your English supplementary reader. Okay, so the chapter was the cop and the anthem, and we have almost reached 50% of the text. We have read 50% of the text. We had understood a character named Soapy and how desperately he wanted to be arrested, right? We had seen that Soapy was jobless, homeless man, and he wanted to spend his 3 months of winter in the prison. That was where, I hope you remember that, and that is on Blackwell's Island. Yes, children? So today we will be moving ahead because he attempted, right? He attempted twice. He tried to get arrested, but the cops did not arrest him. Instead, he was released and he was finding ways to save himself from this winter. Okay, he was trying to get arrested and have this comfortable life and where he wouldn't be worried about food and shelter. Now, children, we will be moving ahead with the rest of the story. We had read until page 25, where we had seen that Soapy was very anxious. He grew really fearful. He got really scared that no cops is going to arrest him and he might have to stand, or he might have to survive the winter out in the cold, and he won't be having any shelter. Okay, we had done till there, and now we will be starting with the next part, that is on page number 26 of your book. Let's get started by reading the orange points or in orange star marked bullets. Okay, Soapy tries his luck twice again. Okay, so 2 attempts done, 2 more he tries in this part. But cops remain indifferent as ever, means they are not going to arrest him now. Soapy is suddenly reminded of his childhood home, mother, and resolves to turn over a new leaf. Okay. Feeling a hand on his arm, Soapy turns around to see the broad face of a cop. Okay. So we will see that when he decides to have a good life for himself, then he finds or meets a cop. Okay, maybe he has come to do something. We will know about that in the later part of the story. Okay, children. So then he came to another cop standing in front of a big theater. He thought of something else to try. He began to shout as if he had too much to drink. His voice was as loud as he could make it. He danced, he cried out. So there was this cop, okay, our cop came, and he was standing in front of this big theater, a movie hall, a cinema hall. He thought of something else to try. He thought, now I need to do something. He began to shout as if he was drunk. Okay, he was not drunk. He was not on alcohol, but still he tried to pretend that he was drunk. Okay. His voice means he started shouting, okay, as he could make it, as louder as he could make it, okay. He danced, he cried out, he was like a madman. And the cop turned his back to Soapy, okay. We see that even after doing all these things, the cop did not notice him, okay. The cop turned his back, means he did not face him, he did not come towards him. And said to the man standing near him, so near the cop a man was standing, he said, "It's one of those college boys. He won't hurt anything." So he said, these things are done by college boys, so he won't be doing anything, don't worry. We have orders to let them shout. So what did the cop say? See the misery of Soapy. He was doing this purposely to get arrested, right? We had seen that he was doing this purposely. But the cop said that he have orders not to arrest college student, but he was not a college student. Oh, such an irony. Now let's see what happens. Soapy was quiet. After hearing this, he lost all hope. He was quiet. He was really quiet. Was no cop going to touch him? Okay, he began to think of the island as if it were as far as a star. Okay, he thought that's unreachable because no one is going to arrest him unless and until a cop arrests him. He is not a cop arrests him, he is not going to land in the Blackwell's Island, right? In the prison. So he was very disappointed, he was losing hope. He pulled his thin coat around him. Now he hugged his coat. The thin coat that he was wearing, he hugged it tight. He snugged it. Okay. So snug is the word for bringing something closer to your body. Like it was already close, but you snug it. You hold it close. Okay, closer. Now let's see. Okay. Because you know what, the wind was very cold. So why did he snug? Why did he just hug his coat? Because it was really cold. The breeze, the air, the wind was really cold. Then he saw a man in a shop buying a newspaper. Okay, so there was a man in the shop, in one of the shops. So he was buying newspaper. Okay, the man's umbrella stood beside the door. Soapy stepped inside the shop, took the umbrella and walked slowly away. Okay, so now he entered the shop and he took the man's umbrella. Okay, so it was stealing and stealing is a crime. So let's see what happens. The man followed him quickly. Okay, the man just went behind him and he just followed him. My umbrella, he said. Okay, when someone takes your thing, you have to follow the person. He said, give me my umbrella back. Okay. Oh, is it? Said Soapy. He said, is it your umbrella? Prove it. Okay. Is it? He wanted to get arrested. He was doing everything for it. So I took it, your umbrella. Why don't you call a cop? So he said, you must call your cop. Call the cop because I stole the what? I stole your umbrella. It's your umbrella. I have stolen it. So now you should call a cop. Okay. Why don't you call a cop? There's one standing at the corner. So he said, see there is a cop standing. Just call him because I stole your umbrella. The man walked more slowly. Now he was following him to get hold of his umbrella. But when he heard the name of a cop, he now followed him really slowly, in slow pace. Okay. Soapy did the same. But he had a feeling that he was going to fall again. So what feeling did he have? That he is going to fall again. The cop fail again. So he was very certain because after 4 disappointments, he did not want to do what? He was very he had lost all his hopes. So he was very skeptical that this plan might not work as well. So the cop looked at the 2 men. Now the cop has arrived and he looked at both of the men, the man who was the owner of the umbrella and Soapy. I, said the umbrella man, that is, you know how these things happen. If that's your umbrella, I am very sorry. I found it this morning in the restaurant. Now you can see what's happening. The owner of the umbrella is saying that I found this umbrella where? In the restaurant. Okay, if it's your umbrella, keep it. If you say it's your, I hope you will. So he said that you can keep this umbrella because you're saying it's yours, so you can keep it. It's mine, cried Soapy with anger in his voice. Okay, it was like, he said, what the hell are you talking? I stole it, right? I stole it from you. Now you need to call the cop, get me arrested. But what you are saying that it is my umbrella and I have to keep it. So he said, it's mine. You're saying it's mine. Okay. The umbrella man hurried away. He ran away because, why do you think he ran away? Because he was the person who has stolen the umbrella previously. So he also stole it. So when Soapy took it and cop came, so he said, this umbrella is yours. It has nothing to do with me. Okay. So the cop helped the lady across the street. The cop went away. He was helping the lady do something. Okay. So across the street, across. So it was on the other side of the street. Soapy walked east. Okay. So now he had lost all hope. He now is walking towards east. That means he walked to the other direction. He threw the umbrella as far as he could throw it. He talked to himself about cops. Okay, he was continuously talking to himself about cops and what he thought of them. Because he wished to be arrested, they seemed to believe he was like a king who could do no wrong. So the cops were like this only. They were not ready to believe that Soapy could do anything. They were assuming him to be a king and in a position not to harm anybody. Okay, we can see this. So now let's see what happens next. At last, Soapy came to one of the quiet streets on the side of the city. Okay, he reached somewhere. He was in the hustle and bustle of the city now. Now he is in the calmer side. Okay, he is in the quieter place. He turned here and began to walk south towards Madison Square. He stopped here. Now he's walking towards Madison Square. He was going home. Okay, so he was staying at a place. Okay, he was in his childhood he was entitled to a home, to a house, but now because he has grown up, no one keeps like grown adults to these shelters, right? So let's see. He was going home, although home was only a seat in the park. Now where he was going? He was going to that seat where he was in the beginning of the story. You remember that he was restless on the seat. Okay, he was just turning about on seat. He was very restless. He was very hopeless. So he wanted to find himself a shelter. That seat he is calling his home because he has nowhere to go. But at a very quiet corner, Soapy stopped. So he was going back to that seat in Madison Square, but he stopped. Okay, he stopped at a quiet place. Here was his old childhood home. So what do we know about it? I told you that he has spent his day or spent his childhood days in a shelter, okay, in his in the company of some like other kids who do not have homes. Okay, here was his old childhood home. Through one window he could see a soft light shining. That had been his living room, okay, where he had spent many happy, peaceful moments. Children, you have to agree that our childhood is our most precious moment. After that, you just miss it, okay? When it's gone, you're continuously pondering over it. You're revisiting, you have that nostalgia. Especially when something is related to your early childhood, you have a connection, you have a bond with it, okay? Maybe some toys or maybe some kind of people whom you have met in your childhood. So they hold a special position in your heart, right? So here also we can see he saw through one window that some light was inside, some soft light was shining inside, and he soon had a quick burst of memories visiting him, okay? He was just visited by lots of memories. Sweet music came to Soapy's ear and seemed to hold him there, okay? He could hear some really sweet music, okay? The moon was above, peaceful and bright, okay? You see, when the nature is making you realize, it's syncing with your mood, so you feel really nice. If you're troubled, sometimes it might rain, okay? It might rain outside, as if they are also crying along with you. So here we can see the moon was shining peacefully in the sky. So that was a pleasure for Soapy now. That was a sight. There were few people passing. I told you that it was a quiet street. Not many people were there. Only few people passing, moving here and there. He could hear birds high above him, okay? During this time also, during this winter, autumn season, okay, so there were birds. He could hear them quite clearly. And the music that came from the room held Soapy there, okay? The music especially. He could recall all his childhood memories, right, children? Now, let's see here. For he had known it well long ago. So he has grown listening to this music. So it meant a lot to him. It was really special. Yes? Now let's see. In those days, his life contained such things as mothers and flowers, and high hopes and friends, and clean thoughts and clean clothes. Okay, this Soapy, you had learnt about him that he was not willing to go to any places which was known to him because he feared what? Getting being asked to take shower. But now he could recall all his memories, his mother, his flowers, okay, his clean clothes, his clean room, his clean thoughts. Okay, so he was not thinking anything else, but instead he had good memories of his childhood. Now there was a sudden and wonderful change in his soul. Okay, something happened, something inside him actually was revived. Okay, it was just awakened. Yes, he saw with sick fear how he had fallen. Now he realized his pathetic condition of the soul and mind. He understood, he realized, I have fallen to a great extent. I was so happy when I was in my childhood, and see what I have done to my life now. Okay, I am thinking to go to prison and doing all these activities just to go to the prison. What for? He saw his worthless days. Okay, he was jobless, he was homeless. He could see all in front of his eyes that he did not utilize time, he did not utilize the days. His wrong desires, his dead hopes. Okay, you know what, children? Hopes keep the fire within us burning. When you have lost hope, you lose everything you have. So now Soapy can realize this, that I had lost hopes. My all hope is dead. So this is not me. I couldn't be this way. His lost power of his mind. Yes, children, the greatest power lies in your mind. When you know you are right, when you know you are okay, when you know that you can control something that's not letting you move ahead. Okay, so children, here Soapy is realizing, see, this is kind of enlightenment. Okay, he has understood that he cannot spend a single moment more in doing all this, actually doing nothing. Okay, and also in a moment his heart answered this change in his soul. He would fight to change his life. He is not going to lead this life anymore. He's not going to be this worthless piece of man. He is going to work on himself. He is going to start walking. He would pull himself out of the mud. Okay, he now had understood that I have fallen. Okay, now I need to rise again. I need to improve my condition. See, children, until we do something for ourselves, no one going to help us. Okay, no one is going to help us. So we have to stand for ourselves. We have to stand for the right. We have to stand for ourselves. Okay, he would make a man of himself again because he could think of his childhood. He understood that what do I need to do? I need to be a gentleman once again. I want to be the man that I was. I want to be the boy or the man which I was in my childhood. Yes. Now let's move to the last page actually of this text. Okay, until we finish 28. There was time he was young enough. He would find his whole purpose in life. Okay, he needs to find the motive of his life. He needs to find the real aim of his life, the purpose of his living, and follow it. Okay, he is going to follow it now. That sweet music has changed him. You know, children, you never know what things can empower you. So the real empowerment came to Soapy after he heard that music, which was a memory from his childhood days. Tomorrow he would find work. Okay, he thought, this is my last day of being jobless. Tomorrow I am going to look for work. A man had once offered him a job. He would find that man tomorrow. Okay, a man gave him some job, but he refused. He is going to find that man who offered him that job. He would be somebody in the world. He's not going to be nobody. He's going to make an identity for himself. He would. Soapy felt a hand on his arm. Okay, he felt that someone was holding him, someone was holding his arm. He looked quickly around into the broad face of a cop. Okay, when he turned around, he saw that a cop was standing. The cop had a broad face. Okay, some kind of square structure. Okay, he had a broad face, and the cop, the police, was standing there. What are you doing hanging around here? So this is a quiet place. Why are you here? What are you doing here? The cop asked. Nothing, said Soapy. He said, I'm doing nothing. I'm just standing. You think I believe that? Okay, said the cop. Full of his new strength, Soapy began to argue, okay, because he was filled with big vigor, he was filled with life now, he has regained his hope. Now he started to argue. He said that and it is not wise to argue with a New York cop. Okay, so he was in New York and they are really strict with their discipline, they are very strict with the laws. It's not very healthy to argue with a New Yorkian cop. Okay, now come along, said the cop. And when he started arguing, now the cop arrested him. Okay, what Soapy wanted for so long, since the start of the story, since the beginning of the story, we had seen Soapy had worked so hard to get arrested. Okay, so now he's getting arrested. Do you see the situation, the reality of the situation? When he was trying so hard to get arrested, okay, no cop did it. But when he renewed his hope, when he got his hope back to survive, to fight and to work and lead a life of a thorough gentleman, he was arrested. You see the irony I was talking about? Irony of situations, children, refer to those situations in which what you expect and what happens with you in reality are two contrasting things, are two different things. Okay, you might want something for a time, and what happens in reality is completely different. What you expect and what happens in reality are completely opposite things. 3 months prison on Blackwell's Island. Okay, this was all he wanted, but now does he want it? No, right? Said the judge to Soapy next morning. So what did the judge say? That yes, now you are sentenced to 3 months of prison in the Blackwell's Island. Okay, you see the story ended on this note. Now children, what do you think? If the cop would not have arrested Soapy, he would have got a life, right? See, this was the irony we were talking about the whole chapter, and means till the very end he was trying to get arrested. He did not get it, but when he decided with new vigor, with new energy, that he is going to have a life for himself, he got arrested. Yes, so children, we can see that this is a very beautiful short story by O. Henry. I hope you remember his real name. I told you that O. Henry is the pen name for whom? I told you it's William Sidney Potter. With this, we have finished the explanation of the text. And children, the language of this chapter was really simple, okay? So you don't need to mug up a lot of hard words because we don't have any. So some are there which are already there in your book. I will be writing those, and actually I could not find any difficult words. Most of the words which are used in this story. This is the beauty of O. Henry. He always uses the language of the people, the common language of the people, to convey the information or to narrate a story. So this was the same. So now children, moving ahead with writing some of the meanings from this chapter. Then we will moving ahead with the question answers maybe in our next video lesson. Okay. So let me begin with writing the meanings. So which is I think already in your book. We can write it from there also. Southern skies, number 1. Okay children, number 1, let it be, we can do ahead with, first I can introduce you to irony. Let me begin with irony. Word meanings. Because only this word is not explained clearly in your book. Otherwise, all the words which are difficult has been clearly explained. So the first word is irony, children. Let's write that one first. Irony. A literary device. I told you about literary devices, children. These are used to ornament or decorate some text. These are used to, actually in literature, literary devices are strong weapons for writers and poets to explain or to narrate the story beautifully. A literary device describing a situation, a literary device describing a situation in which there is contrast between, contrast means, children, difference. A literary device describing a situation in contrast between, in which there is contrast between expectation and reality. Number 2. Okay. The next word, children, is in your book itself. Southern skies. Warmer places. Blackwell's Island. Okay, this is name of the present. Cop. Children, cop is an American word. Okay, this is an American word for policeman. Okay, policeman. You should know this is American English, cop. Okay, cop. We do not use cop for cop in British English. Instead, it is used in American English. And we are talking about America, we are talking about New York, so obviously they are going to say cop only. Now let's move ahead with 5th. Okay, you don't have any more in the book. Okay, so let me see if there is any new word that you should know. Okay, none, children, because I think, yes, children, all the words you will be knowing. It's very common. All the language he has adopted, the language he has adopted is very common. So children, we don't have any 5, we have only 4 meanings that you need to know from this chapter. Okay. So with this, children, we have finished the chapter's explanation and the meanings, okay, of this chapter. Now in our next lesson we are going to continue with the question answers. We will at least touch the question answers from your textbook. We will also be doing some extra questions. We will be discussing on some extra points or extra questions that's there in your chapter. Okay, so till then, children, please take care of yourself and your family. Please, because you know the situation is really difficult out there, take all necessary precautions during this COVID time. Stay safe, children. Okay, bye bye. Take care of yourself.